There's a new poll out on impeachment, and it's got the Biden administration absolutely panicking, especially when they read the Democrat numbers. You're not going to believe it. We're going to dive into the poll. We're going to see how Republicans are already ramping up for impeachment come November. And make sure you stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal why impeaching bumbling Biden is just the beginning. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So you know what to do if you have not already done so. You know, come on now, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And speaking of subscribing, for you podcast fans, we recently launched our brand new Turley Talks podcast, which tens of thousands of you have been downloading. I cannot thank you enough for that. We actually made it to the 14th most downloaded podcast for American news on Apple Podcasts. But you can help us actually become the #1 conservative news and commentary podcast by simply clicking on the link below and subscribing to my podcast. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, you name it, every weekday, 3 times a day, every day. You can take my analysis anywhere you go. So make sure to click on that link below and subscribe to download my podcast, and let's make it to #1 together. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. A brand new Rasmussen poll. Remember, Rasmussen is one of the more accurate pollsters out there. Has some very, very bad news for the Biden administration. A majority of likely voters, 52%, believe that angry Joe Biden, bike riding Biden, should be impeached. 52%. And the breakdown is absolutely fascinating. That includes 77% of Republicans who want Biden to be impeached. I got to tell you, I think that number is low. It's way too, just anecdotally, I have not met a single Republican that doesn't want Biden impeached. They at least want revenge for the 2 Nancy impeachment Pelosi circuses, not even considering the utterly insane policies at our southern border and the disaster in Afghanistan or Sleepy Joe's role in Hunter Biden's illicit business dealings. But nevertheless, all right, 77% Republicans, 50% of independents are on board with impeachment, so that's a good number. We need to get that a little higher. But the real kicker in all this, the stunning revelation from this poll, is that 32% of Democrats, you heard that right, 1 in 3 think Biden should be impeached. Now, if those numbers hold up, if a third of Democrats really have lost confidence in Biden, it's over. And forget 2024, it's over for the midterms. The midterms are going to be a disaster for Biden, and that's because one of the most important indicators for determining how midterms are going to play out is what's called presidential approval rating, right? Which we've covered a number of times on this channel in terms of is indicator significance. Gallup polling is tracked for decades. Whenever a president is underwater, that is, whenever a president under 50% approval, we could expect to see a loss of an average of 37 seats in the House for the president's party. What if the current president's approval numbers have not only slipped way below 50%? What if 32% of voters in his own party want him impeached? Now what? So this is an astonishing development. Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted out, in a new Rasmussen Report survey, voters by a margin of 52% to 42% support impeachment. That includes 77% of Republicans, 50% of independents, and 32% of Democrats. 10% for the big guy border invasion, arming the Taliban. Most Americans want Biden impeached. Those are the 3 reasons that Greene has been citing in her own impeachment articles that she's filed. She's filed along with a number of other congressmen. There are now already, if you don't know, 8 articles of impeachment that have been officially drafted against Biden, right? 8, all right? So 3 are for the disastrous troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. 3 are for Biden's deliberate abdicating of his law enforcement responsibility at the southern border. And then another 2 involve Hunter Biden and his illicit business dealings. 10% for the big guy. Dinesh D'Souza tweeted out, quote, the GOP should make it crystal clear that if we win the House, we are going to impeach Biden and Merrick Garland and Mayorkas and a few others. As Lincoln realized when he encountered the full gangsterism of the Democrats, the time for gentlemen's politics is over. And D'Souza has been saying that a lot of late. He spoke about this during the American Freedom Tour. The days of the Republicans sort of acting like the adults in the room while the Democrats have their 2 to 4 years of temper tantrums, breaking things, smashing things, screaming, yelling, right? While the Mitch McConnells and the Mittens Romneys just sit back and roll their eyes and wait for the Republicans to win the majority again. And then once in the majority, they just restore order to the Senate and to congressional protocol. Democrats were throwing indictments and ordering FBI raids left and right, but we are above all that. We don't stoop to that level. Dinesh D'Souza has been saying that that is a recipe for political disaster, because what that does is it tells Democrats, hey, guys, when you're in power, you can basically do whatever you want to us. You can indict us. You can sick the FBI on us. You can weaponize the IRS. You can inflict whatever pain you want on us. But when we're in charge, we're not going to do anything. Nope, no retaliation, no stooping to your level. What the hell do you think Democrats are going to say to that? So when we're in power, we can do whatever we want to you. But when you're in power, you ain't going to do nothing to us? Awesome. Sounds great. Sign me up. The only way to fight back here effectively is to smash the Democrats totally and completely as a national political party. Show them they have crossed a Rubicon that now guarantees their own destruction. That's the only thing we can do now. That's where Dinesh D'Souza is coming from. That's certainly where Steve Bannon is coming from. Bannon is openly calling for the shattering the Democratic Party as a national institution. He wants to see back-to-back electoral landslides so overwhelming in 2022 and 2024 that, in effect, breaks the Democratic Party into two factions, a centrist neoliberal faction that the neocon rhinos can join up with, and a radical woke leftist faction that promises to wither away on the vine, as it were, in the next decade or so because it's so insane, with MAGA dominance established for the next century. That's the way Bannon is thinking. Regardless, as I reported on in an earlier video, it does look like Biden's impeachment is baked into the cake of things at this point. It's being widely reported again from New York Magazine to the Washington Post that GOP leaders are indeed already planning articles of impeachment against Joe Biden to put in right into effect immediately after November when they take the House. According to the Washington Post, it is a done deal. We'll have to see what goes on with the Senate. I do expect the Republicans to win control of the Senate as well. I'll give you a video on that at the end. But with all the pathetic rhino neocons in there, you know, we'll see. It's a hard sell. But regardless, with polls like these, right, were the Republicans to impeach Biden early next year, they would be fully in line with the sentiments of the majority of the nation. And like I talked about on Friday of last week, I think that a poll like this explains precisely what the DOJ and why they're sicking the FBI agents on MAGA leaders. They're panicked. They're desperate. This is a dying regime. And they're lashing out one last time before they're smashed in November. So butter the popcorn, gang. This promises to get very, very exciting indeed. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video on an actual billionaire Trump donor taking over CNN. All as the GOP is poised to take over the Senate. You're not going to want to miss that video. It's going to make your day. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.